Number 1 is Grim Tidings. This is available right at the start of the game. You can find the quest giver, Elvar, sitting in his house, or sometimes he walks between his house and the cathedral. But usually he's inside his house. So just make sure you check on him at the start of the game. Number 2, Saving Reynard. This quest is called Upon a Pawn. It's not missable, but if you do not help him here, you won't be able to do his quest line later. There's a link in the description that goes over how to obtain this quest and also how to complete the quest that he gives you. Number 3, Guard Duty is Madeleine's escort quest to the encampment. So after you arrive at the encampment the first time and get your pawn, you can go back to Cassidus and you will see Madeleine in the inn. Now she won't have a quest marker until you begin to talk to her, so make sure that you talk to her. Number 4, while you're still in the inn, you'll notice that the innkeeper also has a quest called an Uninvited Guest. This involves finding Pike, a bandit who has been stealing items in the village. It's your job to catch him. Doing this quest also triggers another quest that will appear later in your playthrough. There's a link for the quest in the description. Number 5 is only missable if you don't look around. It's called Reaper's Scorn. It requires you to use a wakestone on Austine's son. Something to note that if you speak to him later in the game, he's either sad if you didn't help his son at that time, or he thanks you and you can see his son still alive and walking around. Number 6, after you invest in Everfall, you do not need to go to Maximilian right away. You can go back to Cassidus, where you can pick up Valmiro's quest called Dying of Curiosity. You will need to speak to Merin to begin this quest. I put a link to Valmiro's full quest line in the description. And you will need to come back to talk to Valmiro after you meet the Duke for the first time, and this will enable you to complete his quest line. Number 7, No Honor Among Thieves is a quest that is related to Pike's quest that we talked about in number 4. You need to go see the bandits in Arn's castle and speak with Maul, who is the leader. He will give you some tasks to do. The last part of his task involves going back to Pike and making a choice. Number 8, Thick of Thieves is a quest you obtain from the female bandits at the ruins of Heavenspeak's fort. It is only obtainable if your character is female with no male party members, or those male party members are dressed as females, or if you're a male character dressed as a female. She will also give you a few tasks to do, which includes feeding her pet Cyclops, but that part is optional. There's a link in the description for this quest. Number 9 is Aelinore's quest. You don't pick up anything here, but you do have to talk to her after the camera pans to her when you exit the building. Her quest line will show up later. Now later you can pick up Arousing Suspicion from Maribel, and then you can do Aelinore's quest. I have a link to her full quest line in the description. Number 10 is the Conspiritors. You may or may not see Fedel walking around the castle. Basically, he wants you to retrieve a lost letter that sends you to Soulflare Canyon. This quest can be ended in 2 ways, so I'll put a link for this quest in the description as well. Number 11 requires you to have gone to the Witchwood with Quina at the beginning of the game. It also requires the completion of the Witch Hunt quest, which is obtained by listening to people talk near the Grand Soaring Fountain. When you return to the grave to pick up the slate, this begins a new quest called Dragon's Tongue to get the Arisen's Bond. I have links to both Witch Hunt and the Arisen's Bond quest in the description. Number 12 is a quest called Mettle against Mettle. You will need to go near the Golem to activate the quest. A link is provided in the description. This quest is another one that requires Witch Hunt to be completed to access the area. Number 13, the next quest is called Talent in Bloom. This is a continuation of Quina's quest line. You will need to travel to the Abbey to pick this up. Now the game never sends you to the Abbey, so you would need to deliberately go there to know that this quest exists. I have a link to Quina's full quest line in the description. Number 14, another quest is called An Innocent Man. You will find Tomlin running around Cassidy after you meet the Duke. You will find his father in the Grand Sorin jail. You will need to set him free and escort him out to be reunited with his son. Number 15, next up is the Quarry. Again, there is nothing specifically that happens early game that sends you here. I mean, you may get sent here later for Salamet, but early game, there's nothing that sends you here. But you will find Alon just outside the Quarry, and he will ask you to clear it out for him. So upon clearing it out, he will set up a shop within the Quarry. Number 16, to Windbluff Tower. Here, Daerio sends you to Julian for supplies. Now Julian will either give you supplies or not give supplies, depending on what you tell him. There's a link in the description for this quest and the possible outcomes. Number 17, Bad Business is part of Madeleine's quest, which I mentioned before. Now when you're helping Aldous with the quest that he gives you, at some point you will have to come back to the Grand Foreign Fields and beat the cockatrice. Once you're done with the cockatrice, if you go to Madeleine's shop looking for her, you will find that she isn't there. But ultimately, you will find her outside of Grand Sorin, and that would continue her quest line. Number 18. After the dragon, but before returning to Grand Sorin, you can pick up a notice board quest to fight Sir Berne. Even though it's a notice board, it is actually a side quest. All you need to do is beat him, and there's a link to this quest in the description. And that is it, guys. I hope this quest was helpful, and thank you for watching.